Well, hope everybody's having a good Wednesday here. Believe it or not, I woke up at 7:51, which was like 10 minutes ago. I was up all night doing some data orders and data processing, and I just kind of like blacked out at 10 or 11 and woke up 10 minutes before we started, so here I am. So I don't have a video or anything like that ready, but no worries. I've got all the other products all set up, and we'll run through those real quick. Okay, let's see here. What do we got going on? We've got some rain in the area. Let's zoom in on the SPC mesoanalysis website. I don't know if you've ever been here, but there's the links for that. No, that's digital atmosphere right there. There we go. spc.noaa.gov, and they have this EXPER/mesoanalysis. And they've got some interesting products in here. You can see all this stuff here. However, these aren't directly measured. These are going to be from the models. And I can't remember offhand. This might be from one of the high-resolution models, or actually, no, it's the follow-on for the... I'm drawing a blank here. Sorry. Anyway, if any of you know which exactly model this comes from, feel free to post it. Otherwise, it's probably in their documentation somewhere. So anyway, if I wanted to look at CAPE, well, this isn't very much of a solar-driven event, so I'm not sure if surface-based would be the best one, but 100 millibar mixed layer, yeah, that's probably useful. So I can see that we're kind of in the 1,000 to 2,000 range. And you don't want to split hairs too much with this and say, it's low here, it's high here. That's getting into kind of like the noise of the model. So it's better to kind of look at the large-scale picture and say, yeah, there's a instability axis right through here, and maybe it's a little bit lower here, and then it picks up here, for example. So that's kind of how you want to go about looking at these models. However, we do have a bit of an MCS coming into the Texas big country. And let's see here. Let's see if we can kind of get an idea what's causing that. We'll look at the surface chart here. And we can see that we've got kind of an east-southeasterly flow here. Looks like the leading edge of that system is here. And this is probably that cold front, that very weak cold front that has been gradually moving southward over the past few days. So thunderstorms are located right there. And we can see that the moisture has increased a little bit. You can see the 60s dew points pretty much covering the entire area, 70s dew points all the way up to the MCS. And remember, we were talking, it was probably yesterday, about soundings. And if we were able to increase the moisture a bit, that we'd be able to squeak thunderstorms out of that. And that's what's happened. So just add a little bit of moisture into the mix, and especially this time of year, 70s dew points, that we'll get storms going pretty easily. All right, elsewhere around the country, we'll take a look around. Florida and the southeast U.S. still under this weak east-northeasterly flow. Looks like we've got the leading edge of a cold front from upstate New York through the southern Great Lakes and down to Chicago. It looks like they've just had a front come through. So this is a new outbreak of cold air. It doesn't look like much of a push behind it. You can see we've got southwesterly flow north of that. Northern Plains still looks pretty stagnant there. However, we do have some northwesterly flow here. We'd also been talking about a bit of a cold outbreak coming out of central Canada. That's probably the leading edge right there. We'll take a look at the charts and see if we can see that. Then the Pacific Northwest looking stormy yet again. Large area of clouds up in this area. Looks like some convergence, maybe offshore. And things look pretty cool, relatively cool, across the southwestern U.S. And you can see we've got this predominant northerly flow. So we've probably got frontal passage through that area. Northerly flow at Las Vegas this time of year, that's going to mean a front came through. Their other predominant direction is southwesterly. So you can kind of use that as a barometer of what the air mass is doing out there. And of course, the fact that Phoenix is 82 instead of 94 means that we've had a bit of a change. We can look at the streamlines to kind of get an idea of the air mass setup. So maybe we've got a bit of a cold front moving through the southwest right there. Maybe that links up to that Midwest system. And a large high pressure area across Virginia and North Carolina, and that's driving a lot of easterly flow across Texas. And do you see the upslope flow? When we have upslope flow in Texas and northern part of Mexico here, that's going to generate clouds and possibly precipitation. So there you go. That's what happens when you get upslope flow, especially in the cool season in Texas. And of course, moisture helps quite a bit too. And you'll notice a lot of clear skies across the western U.S. You probably noticed this S shape to the clouds here in Texas. So that's kind of a baroclinic signature right there. So we've probably got a jet running something like that. So we're going to look for that on the upper level chart, and possibly a trough somewhere in this area. Then looks like another system coming on shore there, pretty wrapped up low pressure system there. Looks like an inclusion way out there. You can kind of see a mix there of stratified cloud and convective cloud, some very good cumulonimbus towers. Probably very showery patterns way out there. Okay, I guess that's probably about all to look at here. Okay, thought that was smoke, but I think that's sun glint or something. I don't know. What is that? It's not sun glint because that's way over on the edge. I wonder if that's pollution or something. Since I don't know, I'm going to check the other satellite and see if I can figure out what that is. Yeah, it shows up on that one too. It doesn't look like sun glint either. In fact, it looks like it kind of carries out into this region here. Now, by sun glint, I'm talking about see that line right there? There's usually a certain amount of sun glint on these SWATs, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Anyway, I don't know, but what I can do is look over on the surface chart real quick and see if there's any clues, because sometimes there is. And we're getting this little report of fog here. What I would probably do is also look into the actual METAR observations and see if I get some clues there. Getting a fog or haze report right there near Parkersburg, or I'm not sure what station that would be. Anyway, okay, let's get into the broad scale picture. So we're going to work on the thermal structure here real quick. The very first thing we see on this chart when we pick that up is a large area of cold air mass coming out of Canada, and the actual core of it is over the high Arctic right there. So a very large area of cold air coming south. There's the thermal gradient right there. Looks like the leading edge of that is going to be something like this. Okay, so anyway, that's coming up through Chicago and probably Nebraska and South Dakota. This is indicating we've probably got another front running something like that through Texas and through Sonora. And then offshore, off the west coast. Can't forget that. Looks like another system right there. Frontal system coming up on the Washington coast there. So we're probably going to be seeing a system something like that right there. Okay. We'll go ahead and wrap this up with a forecast and see what we're going to be expecting in the days ahead. Okay, starting out, there's our cold front coming into the Midwest. And what do we got going on in Texas? Okay, there's tomorrow evening right there. Looks like high pressure starting to sink into Texas here and starting to push some of this precip out. As you can see, the strongest upslope component is starting to push down to the I-10 area and near the Rio Grande. So that'll probably start gradually starting to clear things out tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night. There's the frontal system coming into New York and Washington, D.C. and Kentucky right there tomorrow night for our webcast tomorrow night. That continues moving south very quickly, and then we get high pressure building into the northeast right here. That'll bring this cold air, see this cold air pool? That'll bring it straight south, so more cool weather for the northeast. So over the weekend, very large high across much of the eastern U.S. And you can see we've got that upslope still in place along the Rio Grande. So that's going to help generate some precip clouds in eastern New Mexico and San Antonio and Del Rio area. And then we get kind of in a stagnant pattern here early next week. Here's the map on Monday. You can see a bit of a lee side trough set up now across the high plains. Looks like that develops into a front right here, a very weak front, and I'm now looking at the western U.S. Looks like a new system coming inland right there. So that's going to be our next weather maker for midweek and late next week. Looks like the push of that is mostly into the Great Lakes area. And once again, another outbreak for the northeast U.S. for next week. Not much for Texas. Looks like we got a very weak high starting to build in right there. So, yeah, I guess we're going to stay a little bit on the mild side here in Texas. So you can see that high right there. You can see that building southwestward or southeastward over the next couple days. So, yeah, that'll cool things off a little bit for Texas here. Okay, and then at the very end of the period, November 15th, this is getting way out there, but there's the next outbreak right there coming into the Texas area. But that's starting to get way out towards the end of the model, so that may not even happen. Okay. I think that's about all I got for this webcast. I apologize I wasn't too prepared, but hopefully we'll have some cool stuff for tomorrow. I'll try to mix up some new techniques and concepts, and we'll run with that. Anyway, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.